Kylie Jenner is reportedly trying to keep her distance from Timothée Chalamet after his name surfaced in the recently released Epstein files. And while no charges have been filed, no arrest made, and no formal accusations announced, the situation has raised serious questions about his past behavior, his public image, and whether everything we thought we knew about him was carefully manufactured. What's especially unsettling is the growing belief that a highly publicized campaign Timothée took part in back in 2018, where he positioned himself as a vocal supporter of abuse victims, may not have been genuine at all. Instead, it's starting to look like a strategic move designed to manipulate public perception at a critical moment in his career, right when Oscar buzz was building. So let's get into it. Timothée Chalamet has not been charged with anything. He hasn't been arrested. But the real question people are asking now is this: how did he seemingly glide through the height of the Me Too movement untouched, while so many others were scrutinized, exposed, or permanently canceled? That's a conversation a lot of people are hesitant to have, because no matter what's said, it's bound to upset someone. But the dots are there, and they deserve to be connected. First, let's clear up one viral misconception. There was an image circulating online that many people believed showed a young Timothée Chalamet standing next to Jeffrey Epstein. That man is not Epstein. It's actually Timothée's father, who, unfortunately for him, bears a resemblance that sent the internet into a frenzy. Still, while that photo turned out to be misleading, the bigger and far more serious revelation remains. Timothée Chalamet's name does appear in the Epstein files. And no, people were not ready for that. To understand how his name ended up there, we need to talk about a woman most people outside Hollywood PR circles had never heard of until now. Her name is Peggy Siegel, a powerful publicist who is deeply embedded in elite Hollywood circles, and more disturbingly, extremely close to Jeffrey Epstein. Peggy wasn't just a casual acquaintance. She socialized with him, worked alongside him, and according to released emails, appeared to help connect him with influential people he wanted access to. The tone of those messages is chilling, casual, and far too comfortable. Many have compared her role to that of Ghislaine Maxwell, and honestly, that comparison doesn't feel exaggerated. When Epstein was first exposed, Peggy publicly claimed she had no idea what he was doing to underage girls. She released a statement saying she had invited him to a few events over the years, but insisted she didn't know the truth until it all became public. She claimed that had she known, she would have cut ties immediately. But then the emails came out. In one message, she writes to Epstein with a disturbing level of familiarity, joking about aging, cosmetic procedures, his private island, the staff living underground, furniture pulled from the ocean, and rebuilding efforts. The tone is playful, intimate, and completely disconnected from the image of someone unaware of his crimes. And then, buried in those emails, is a passage that changes everything. Peggy writes about Woody Allen, calling the Me Too movement a witch hunt designed to destroy an elderly cinematic icon. She expresses anger toward women who accused him. And then she casually brings up her friend, Timothée Chalamet. She reveals that Timothée, who publicly donated his entire salary from Woody Allen's film and distanced himself from the director, was reportedly furious about being pressured into doing so. According to her, his agents forced the donation not because he believed Woody Allen was guilty, but to appease the press and hysterical women in the media. She even claims Timothée was upset at having to perform concern he didn't genuinely feel, all while hinting that he was being positioned to win an Oscar the following year. The level of calculation in that statement is staggering. And it completely reframes everything. Publicly, Timothée released a carefully crafted statement in 2018 saying he regretted working with Woody Allen, didn't want to profit from the film, and would donate his entire salary to organizations supporting abuse victims. He framed himself as an ally, standing shoulder to shoulder with survivors. But privately, according to emails tied to Epstein's inner circle, he resented it. Woody Allen himself later confirmed this version of events in his 2020 memoir, writing that Timothée told his agent he needed to denounce him to improve his Oscar chances for Call Me by Your Name. Suddenly, the gesture looks less like integrity and more like strategy. Hollywood insiders weren't fooled. Bill Maher publicly mocked the donation, calling it one of the fakest acts of performative activism he'd ever seen. And considering that Allen's controversial history had been widely known for decades, many questioned why Timothée only found his moral compass when awards season arrived. Then there's Soon-Yi Pravin, Woody Allen's wife, who was once adopted by his former partner. Emails released in the Epstein files show her mocking Timothée privately, expressing satisfaction when one of his films received poor reviews. It's clear they were watching him closely after he publicly turned on Woody. All of this paints a picture of a young actor navigating a ruthless industry, not by taking a stand, but by playing the game. Which brings us back to Kylie Jenner. Many people have long suspected that their relationship is heavily PR-driven. And honestly, in this context, it tracks. Timothée has somehow managed to maintain a spotless, intellectual, soft boy image while freely hopping on Kylie's private jet, enjoying billionaire luxury, and avoiding the kind of backlash other men receive for far less. Now, with his name tied to Epstein files and cheating rumors swirling after he was spotted leaving a hotel with another actress, Kylie is reportedly under immense stress. While some outlets later claimed the situation was misreported, the timing couldn't be worse. People are starting to see what they always suspected: that much of Hollywood's moral posturing is performative, that many of these carefully worded statements aren't about justice, they're about optics. And when you look at Timothée Chalamet through that lens, the puzzle pieces fit uncomfortably well. As this story continues to unfold, one thing becomes painfully clear: Hollywood is not built on truth. It's built on timing, optics, and control. What we are witnessing right now isn't just another celebrity scandal or gossip cycle distraction. It's a window into how narratives are manufactured, reputations are protected, and accountability is selectively applied depending on who you are, who you know, and how valuable you are to the machine. Timothée Chalamet's situation forces us to confront an uncomfortable reality. Not because he's been charged with anything. He hasn't. Not because his name appearing in the Epstein files automatically proves guilt. It doesn't. But because it exposes how proximity, silence, and strategic morality are often enough to keep powerful people insulated, while the public is fed carefully edited versions of the truth. The most disturbing part isn't the files themselves. It's what they confirm about how performative so much of Hollywood activism truly is. Statements that sound brave, donations that look noble, apologies that feel sincere. And yet, behind closed doors, emails tell a very different story. One where victims are dismissed, movements are mocked, and public outrage is treated as something to manage rather than respect. This isn't just about Timothée. He's not an anomaly, he's a case study. A reminder that image is currency in this industry, and those who learn to spend it wisely can survive almost anything. Even associations that would end another person's career overnight. And that's where Kylie Jenner comes back into the picture. Because whether their relationship is real, strategic, or something in between, it highlights another truth: alignment matters. Brands, families, and power circles don't attach themselves to liabilities unless they're confident the damage can be controlled. And when distance starts to appear, when silence replaces public affection, when narratives suddenly shift, that's when you know something behind the scenes is being recalculated. Hollywood doesn't react emotionally, it reacts mathematically. So when people ask, why does this feel different? Why does this story feel heavier? Why does it linger? It's because this isn't just about what happened, it's about what almost never comes out. The emails we weren't supposed to read, the thoughts they never intended for public consumption, the way victims are spoken about when no cameras are rolling. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. The Me Too movement didn't fail because survivors lied. It failed because the system adapted. It learned how to speak the language of accountability without practicing it. It learned how to survive outrage cycles. It learned how to sacrifice a few expendable figures while quietly protecting the ones deemed too important to lose. That's why stories like this matter. Not because they offer clean villains or satisfying resolutions, but because they show us how power actually works, how silence is rewarded, how timing is weaponized, how morality becomes a costume people put on when it benefits them and discard when it doesn't. And the reason this conversation makes people uncomfortable is because it challenges the illusion. The idea that fame equals goodness, that talent equals integrity, that saying the right thing publicly means believing it privately. It doesn't. Now here, where you come in, because this is not a passive story. If you're still watching, still listening, still questioning, then you already understand something crucial. Narratives only survive as long as people stop interrogating them. So here's my question to you, and I want you to really think about it. Do you believe Hollywood has actually changed? Or has it just gotten better at pretending? Do you think performative accountability should still earn praise? Or should actions behind the scenes matter more than statements made for cameras? And most importantly, if this information makes you uncomfortable, why? Is it because it's untrue? Or because it forces us to admit we may have defended people who never deserved it? This is where the conversation continues, not in headlines, but in discussions, not in PR statements, but in accountability, and definitely not in silence. So if this breakdown gave you a new perspective, share it. If it challenged something you believed, sit with that discomfort. If you think this story deserves more eyes, help it reach them. Like this video if you believe truth matters more than image. Subscribe if you want deeper breakdowns that don't stop at surface-level narratives. And comment below, because I want to hear your take. Do you think Timothee's past actions were genuine or strategic? Do you think Kylie distancing herself is coincidence or calculation? And do you believe the Epstein files are finally exposing the cracks in Hollywood's armor? Or will this, too, be buried under the next distraction? Because one thing is certain. The truth doesn't disappear. It waits. And sooner or later, it always demands to be seen. I'll see you in the next one. At the end of the day, he's an actor, professionally trained to say the right thing, feel the right thing, and convince the right people. And when awards, reputation, and power are on the line, principles often come second. Make of that what you will. I hope you guys found this breakdown informative and unsettling. I'll see you in the next one.